Hey guys, isn't it funny how I got my Arc Ride shirt just as my EUC broke? Literally the day it happened. I should have a Arc Walks or Arc Drives shirt, huh? Or Arc Repairs when I need to fix my EUC. So I'm just on the way to a park right now, guys. You do not want to miss this video. Remember that timestamp just there. I'll see you in a second, alright? Oh yeah, and smash that like button, guys. Smash it. That's an easy way you can support the channel and make sure it stays alive so I can keep releasing content on a regular basis. So I'll see you there, alright guys? Here we are in the park. Birds singing, sun shining. What more can you ask for? So today I'm going to be talking, or right now I'm going to be talking about EUCs and exercise. And I'll explain why I think they're good exercise. So you know I'm big into health, healthy living. I've talked a lot about being outdoors in nature, being in contact with the ground, like I am right now. Because the earth is negatively charged. It's got a surplus of electrons. So that means when you're in contact with them, the electrons will flow through your body. Well, into your body. They will go from the earth into your body. And the result is the same as how an antioxidant supplies surplus electrons to neutralize free radicals and or repair the damage done by them by supplying extra electrons to the cells that have had their electrons stolen by the free radicals. So I've talked a bit about that. And the importance of getting sunlight. I've talked about that too. But just now I'm going to be talking about EUCs and exercise because I've always been big into exercise. Like I used to spend hours in the gym every single day. I used to go to the gym every day basically, and then I got into e-scooters and I got this super fast scooter with tiny little wheels, and I did not wear any protective gear, not even a helmet. Or nothing, I mean nothing at all. And I broke my arm I fell on the same arm like 4 times in a row. I broke it, broke my wrist, and I just stopped doing weights because of my injuries. And then I got an EUC, and then I stopped running as well. So I wasn't doing any exercise at all, I thought. And that was for months, by the way. That was like, for 6 months, I didn't do any exercise while I was riding my EUCs. And then my EUC broke. Well, both of mine broke now. And now I've been getting back into the running, and I've found that I haven't lost much fitness and, well, cardiovascular fitness. And I credit that greatly to the EUC because it's the only exercise I've been getting. And when you think about it, what do you do on the EUC? You squat. Unless you ride seated, of course. And I never ride seated. So I'm always squatting. I sometimes spend 40 minutes on that thing, squatting non-stop. And that's got to be really good exercise. And it's the only PEV that offers that, isn't it? Like on a scooter, that's not exercise. Just like standing at the queue in the supermarket. You know? A skateboard, an electric skateboard offers a bit of exercise. But again, it's not going to offer the best exercise, partly because of the stance. Your neck is twisted the entire time. So not only is it unhealthy for your spine, but you can't actually do it for very long. So you can't get that much exercise. Not like with an EUC, I can ride for 3 hours. And that's a lot of exercise, you know, when you're squatting all that time. So I reckon that's great, you know, like they offer the exercise as well as having so many other benefits. I mean, the list is like endless, right? They're the fastest, the best acceleration by far, the best hill climbing, the best off-road ability too. Like, you've seen me going like 70 k's an hour on sand. On an e-scooter, you can go like 7 k's an hour. I mean, it's crazy. What else have they got? It's got the best portability. You know, when you go into a supermarket, you just pull up the trolley and just go. It's like carrying a piece of paper. And then what else? It's got the best rain. It looks the coolest too, in my opinion. And it's got the you know, it's got a lot of things, doesn't it? So yeah, I reckon they're just awesome machines for that. Like, I just thought I had to mention that in this video because it's related to the topic that I'm going to be talking about. And like I said, don't miss that. Don't miss the next part. You're going to see me very soon on the computer. And again, don't miss page 2. You'll see in the corner, it's going to say page 1 when we start the video. And wait, just hang in there until you get to page 2, because that's where it's interesting. All right, I'll see you there, all right? And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe. There's going to be plenty more coming up. Every couple of days I'll release a new video, and I'll make sure it's always interesting, all right? So if you enjoy it, definitely subscribe. And smash the like button. Just support the channel. See this log here? It can support my full body weight when I stand right on the end. Massive cantilever. I don't know if you guys know what a cantilever is, but it's like a lever. You know, the longer the lever and the more force you put on the end, the more, well, the stronger the structure needs to be at this, at the fulcrum point, right? And the reason I'm telling you this is because soon I'm going to show you this other video. I'm going to put up another video about aeroplanes, and it's going to blow your mind again. That's coming in the future though. I just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, I'll show you what I mean. I'll stand on it now. See, I'm standing right on the tip. It can take a force of like 2,500 Newton meters. Oh, sorry, pound feet. Well, it's about the same anyway. And now I'm going to try and force this thing down just with my hands. Just to show you guys that I haven't lost all my strength from my weight training days. I'll try one-handed first. Woo. Alright guys, let's head off and make this video. It's gonna be good, trust me. I'll see you at my computer. And guys, just remember, when we get there, you're gonna be on page 1. Don't go away till you get to page 2, because that's where it gets interesting. I mean, it's interesting all the way through, extremely, but just when you think it won't get more interesting, it does. So don't go away till you get to page 2. And just so you know, on page 2, you're going to see a small list of foods that I ate the other day. But that's not why it's interesting. Just make sure you get there, okay? All right, I'll see you there in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here we are, guys. We're in my shed, and just so you know, this isn't what the video is about, but I designed a system in here. I spent years designing a system for automating food production. So it's related to this, and I thought I'd just mention it. But it's not what it's about. today what we're doing is looking at Chronometer. This is a free resource. It's free on your PC. If you want to use it on a mobile, then you got to pay. They have every food on the planet, basically. Anything you can imagine. You just click add food, type whatever you want, like carrot. See, it comes up. And then you just click it and choose the amount, and it'll tell you everything you need to know, like your calories and all your micro and macronutrients. So thought I would mention before we continue, I don't necessarily agree with anything these people believe, because they're a food metrics site. So they have every food on the planet. They're gonna have their own opinions on what's healthy. So I just thought I'd mention that. And I probably do agree with some stuff they say, but not necessarily. And today, all we're doing is looking at the numbers, the non-corruptible, raw data, corruptible by opinion, bias, incentives. And that's all we're going to be doing. And what do we have here? It's a list of foods that I would have thought were healthy based on the food pyramid and everything I've been taught. And it's the way I tried to eat for most of my life. And the philosophy there is variety. Eat a bit of everything, get a wide variety so you cover all your bases. You've got the best chance of meeting each individual nutritional requirement, all your micronutrients and your macronutrients. And it makes a lot of sense, really, because you need to cover a lot of bases there, you know. So if you've got a big variety, then it makes sense you're going to cover them all, or you're going to have a much better chance. And guys, this stuff is pretty crazy. After the video, check for yourself so you can see that I'm not just making this up. It'll take you 1 minute. So what do we got here? We've got a massive variety, basically. So we've got 100 grams of beef, half a pound of pork, an ounce of chicken, 100 grams of fish, a crab leg, a glass of milk, 18 grams of lettuce, a carrot, a piece of corn, 100 grams of onion, 4 eggs, half a pound of rice, a bowl of pasta, half a pound of yogurt, an ounce of cheese, a muesli bar, an apple, a banana, an orange, a packet of strawberries, and half a pound of lamb kidney. So that's like a whole kidney there. I mean, that's a lot of food, right? And a massive variety. Like, no one eats this kind of variety. This has got to be, I mean, this is great, right? It's brilliant. It doesn't really get any better than this. I mean, even by the time I got to the strawberry here on this list, I was thinking, you know, this is already getting pretty long, this list. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to keep adding. But then I thought, I should add just a piece of organ meat, because organ meats are much higher in nutrition. So this way we're getting, like, you know, we've got all our bases covered and then some. You know, you could feed an army with all this food, right? And so let's see what we've got. Let's have a look. All right, so calories, 2,936. So what do you think of that? Not much, is it? For all this food, and all we've got is that. Enough to cover our basal metabolic consumption, which is just what you need to keep warm and breathe, keep your heart beating, keep your brain running, your digestive system flowing, and your immune system going. All that stuff needs a lot of energy, and we've got enough for that, and just a little bit more to move around. You know, if you do some heavy exercise, you'll burn that up so quick. So I'm saying that this isn't really much energy unless you're living a sedentary lifestyle. And we've got a whole boatload of food, right? Just for this little bit of energy. I mean, for starters, that's pretty crazy, I think. But that's just the beginning, guys. And just remember, don't go away until we get to page 2. This is page 1 right now, so you want to hang around until we get to page 2, because that's when it gets super interesting. You'll see a small list of foods there, and it's going to blow your mind. And so let's go on. Let's look at the nutrients. All right. Let's look at. So we've got vitamins, minerals, proteins, lipids, carbs, everything. Right. Let's start by looking at the good stuff. All right. So we've got a lot of bases covered, don't we? All these green bars mean we've got. Well, we've fulfilled our requirements. All the amino acids met. decent balance of omega-3 to 6. Enough carbs, according to this. I like to eat some more carbs than that because I do a lot of exercise. But anyway, we've got, yeah, so that's all the good stuff. Lots of bases covered. And you'd expect that. I mean, with all that food, like I was saying, we've got basically the biggest variety you could possibly put together. You know, no one eats that kind of variety. It's kind of, I mean, you'd be dreaming if you thought you could eat all that every single day. But we've got it. And now let's look at the bad stuff. Look at vitamin K. 22% with all this food. You know what that means, right? Because I know some of you'd be thinking, oh, well, it's probably not balanced enough. You need to add a bit more fruit or something, or veg, right? But think about that for a second. We've already got a bunch of fruit, a bunch of veg, right? And we're at 22%. So what does that mean? Well, what that means, we could multiply everything on this list by 4. So you'd have to have 16 eggs, 4 bowls of pasta, 4 half-pound servings of rice, you know, all times 4, you know, 4 apples, 4 bananas, 4 oranges, 4 cups of strawberries, 4 lamb kidneys, and then you could bring this vitamin K up to 88%, which would be okay. But look at all the food you'd have. We've already got a boatload, so you'd need 4 boatloads just to meet your vitamin K requirements. I mean, that's telling, right? What is that saying? It's saying that this is a deficient way to eat. Simple as that. There's no other explanation. I mean, your vitamin D here, it says 84%. Really, that could be at 0. If you can get about half an hour of sun a day, you can meet your vitamin D requirements without eating any of it. So there's a perfectly valid explanation for this. There is no explanation for vitamin K. That's abysmal. That's going to create major problems. You need vitamin K to create blood clots, amongst many other things. If you can't create blood clots, you bleed out from the smallest cut. You know, you have to go to hospital if you just pinch yourself, basically. It's pretty serious stuff. And that's very deficient, 22%. And vitamin E as well, 57%. We've only got about half, right? Again, with all that food. So you need to double that food to meet your vitamin E requirements. Again, double everything, all the fruit, all the veg, everything. It's deficient. I mean, there's no other explanation. This is a deficient way to eat. As balanced as it looks, I mean, it looks like you couldn't get better balance than that, right? Bit of everything. Well, how is the balance really? Oh, well, we've got way too little of that. And look how much selenium we've got. Enough to basically make you sick. If you eat that much selenium every day, you're going to get sick, guaranteed. That's the biggest problem here, is the selenium, in fact. You got too much niacin as well. Not the end of the world there, but the selenium basically is. You know, eating that much selenium, I mean, we're 15 times over the limit. That's incredible. So our balance, we're way out of balance. This isn't balanced at all. We've got a bit of everything though. We've got a bit of fruit, bit of veg, bit of meat, all types of meat, seafood, and organ meat. A bunch of organ meat, a whole kidney. And we're in big trouble. Right? So vitamins and minerals, major issues going on there. Protein. All right, we're in good balance with our amino acids, but look how much protein we've got. Right? That's almost half of what a gorilla eats. And gorillas are super powerful beings. They're not like humans, by the way. Like, you know, we're primates, but we're more like bonobos and chimpanzees. Gorillas are different. They eat mostly leaves. They eat a bunch of protein. They get all their protein from leaves, a bit of fruit, but mostly leaves. And they eat about 600, 700 grams a day of protein. We're almost at half of that. You know, that's, many doctors would recommend much less than this, and this is agreeing. It's saying we got too much. All right, trans fat, yeah, not like a massive amount, still quite a bit though, and a lot of saturated fat, a lot of cholesterol. The American Heart Association recommends 0.3 grams of cholesterol, or 300 milligrams. We've got 2,450 nearly, right? So we're over by like, what, 8 times? A bit over 8 times in our cholesterol. Cholesterol, by the way, is linked to the #1 killer of human beings. According to, it's the general consensus that out of all these fats, cholesterol is the main culprit for hardening of the arteries. And it's mainly due to oxidized cholesterol, by the way. When you have unoxidized cholesterol, it's not that big a deal. But most of the one you get is oxidized. I'll talk about that later. And we're 8 times over the limit for the thing that's linked to the #1 killer of human beings. By the way, that kills more people than all cancers, all car, boat, plane, train, motorbike accidents, and sporting accidents combined. It's insane. By a long shot, too. Not many people know that, but... And fats. All right, so overall fats isn't bad. I mean, total number of fats. But when you look at the profile, it's horrendous. And carbs. All right, nothing to see here really, and we don't have enough fiber according to this. By the way, you've got soluble and insoluble fiber, and soluble fiber is what you want to consume more of. You don't really want much insoluble fiber, if any, really. It's it can cause problems. It's hard to digest, but you need soluble fiber. You need soluble fiber to feed your microbiome, which is the bacteria in your gut that helps you digest food. You need them to be in optimal health. I mean, for you to be in optimal health, they need to be in optimal health. And for that, they need to eat. And they eat soluble fiber mainly. So what else have we got? We got lack of water. So we're going to need to drink from a tap or a bottle. And that's normal, I guess. And then, again, not much energy. I mean, it's saying we're over. Like, see, it's in red. But the only reason is because we're not doing any exercise. I haven't put any metrics in for exercise. So that it's saying we've got a surplus of calories. Meaning, you know, theoretically, that means we're going to gain weight over time because those calories will be stored as fat, essentially. And but what I'm saying is that we got to do a lot more exercise than what I put in here. I haven't put in any. Oh, sorry about the airplane, if you can hear that, by the way. I'm going to do a video later on airplanes that'll blow your mind too. I mentioned that on the log earlier, remember? When I was talking about the log with the cantilever. Wait for that one. It's coming up in probably a few weeks. But anyway, let's go on. What I'm saying is that we need to do some exercise, and we don't have much energy to do it. We only got 1,000 calories. I mean, you can do some exercise, but if you want to do like intensive exercise, you're going to be struggling on that. And what does that mean? You got to eat more than this boatload we've already got. I mean, that's crazy to me. So I think we've covered this page 1. Like I promised, we're going to page 2 next, and that's coming up now. And I'll remind you that on page 2 is what I ate the other day. So that's why I put it there. And it's what I like, it's what I strive to eat. I don't always succeed, but I do extremely well. When I fall off the wagon, I get straight back on. So that's how I try to live. And let's go. Let's do it right now. Bang. Page 2. What do you think? Small list, huh? And how simple is that? I mean, everything on that list you can just pick up and eat without any tools or kitchen technology. You know, it's just fast food, simple food. But not just that, it's a simple list. There's only 6 things, right? Unlike page 1 back here, you got this monstrosity of a diet, right? This is page 2, guys. And I'm not going to scroll down yet. When I scroll down, you're going to see the vitamins and minerals and all that. It'll blow your mind too. But look at the calories first. Right? Nearly 4,000 calories on this tiny list of foods. We got tons of energy. Or nearly double. We got nearly double the fuel to do our exercise on this tiny list of foods. I eat that in 1 meal, by the way. 1 sitting. That's what I do. I've been doing it. I've been eating 1 meal a day for like over 2 years now. And I've been eating raw, like, you know, all this type of food for much longer than that. So That's what I do, you know. That's the way I live. And before I continue though on this page 2 diet, before I scroll down and show you the nutrients, let's go back here and try to help out a little, right? Because we're in trouble. We need more vitamin K for starters and vitamin E, right? There's no explanation other than we need more food, right? We're not going to get it from the sun like with vitamin D. We're not going to get it from anything else. We need to eat it. It's the only way we're going to get it. So let's try and add just a couple more things. I don't know. All right, so we've got all this. What, lamb kidney. All right, so let's add another organ. We've only got one organ there, so let's add a heart. Beef heart. An entire heart. How about that? We added a whole beef heart. An entire heart of a cow. That's a lot of food by itself, but we just added that to this whole list. And then let's add, did I say cod liver oil before or something? Let's add that. Cod liver oil. Nutritious stuff this is. Let's add 3 servings. It's a superfood. It's got to help. And then let's add bone broth. That's another health dish or something, isn't it? So bone broth. And what else could I add? Let's just keep it at that. That's enough. I mean, how much bone broth? Oh no, let's add half a pound actually. Half a pound of bone broth. A heart. So we just added, guys, an entire beef heart, 3 servings of cod liver oil, and half a pound of bone broth. So another half a pound of food there. I mean, this list is getting huge. So what do we got now? All right, we've got 3,591 calories. We've got a bit more calories, good. Bit more energy to work with. But we added a whole bunch of food, didn't we? For what? For a bit more energy, just a bit. Look, even this fruit, this little tiny diet here has got more energy still. Can you believe that? I just added like another, like a whole meal basically, and we've still got more energy in this diet. Remember, I ate this in one day, in one sitting, in like an hour. It's not a lot of food. Let's go through what it is. Actually, before I go through what it is, let's go back here again and look and see how this stuff helped with the nutrition. See, I just added those other things. Let's see how we're looking. Oh, it's the same. Still lacking vitamin K. Our vitamin E is looking a bit better, but still deficient. 63 is not enough, really. If we're up at 70, 75, then that's okay. But it's still a little deficient there. But vitamin K is horrible. At 1/4, we're 4 times deficient there. And even more out of balance now. Look at our selenium, 17 times over now. We're going to get sick even faster now. Like I said, if you ate all this food every day, you'd be sick. You wouldn't be healthy. You'd get sick eventually, that's for sure. And selenium is one of the big reasons. We also got way too much iron, way too much phosphorus, and too much zinc. And now our protein's up at 350 grams nearly, Now it's up at like gorilla status. But the calories again that blows my mind, guys. But let's go back here now and see what we really got here. Maybe I've just got a bunch of fruit there, who knows? So let's see. All right, we've got 1/4 of a watermelon. So I buy my watermelons whole and I cut them in 4 pieces and eat 1 piece a day. It takes like 10 minutes to eat it. It's not much food, it's a snack. So we got that, and then we got 3 mangoes. Nothing. 8 oranges. Sounds like a lot. It's only a couple of glasses of juice worth. I don't juice them, but that takes me nothing to eat. I eat that super fast. We got a packet of blueberries, a packet of pistachios, and 10 grams of Brazil nuts. So like hardly any Brazil nuts. 1 nut basically. And that's it. That's the whole list, guys. Just a few fruits and some nuts. And these pistachios, by the way, were a treat. I wouldn't normally eat that many pistachios. I mean, it's just a packet, like a little packet like this. But there's a lot of fat in them. And these are roasted, as you can see. You know, I would rather go for the raw. But that's what I ate anyway, so I just put it there. And their balance in omega-3 to 6 isn't very good. That's the other thing I'll mention. Aside from that, they're not bad. And let's see what we've got then. This is the good part, guys. The vitamins and minerals. Let's have a look. And just before I continue, let me remind you that vitamin D, you can get it all from the sun, which is what I do. It's saying I'm getting 0 there, which is true. But I get plenty of sun. Not everyone can do that, I know, and that sucks. I would suggest that get the sun while you can. Whenever it's out, take advantage of it. I'm not giving advice and saying quit your supplements or whatever. I'm just saying this is what I do. I don't eat any vitamin D at all. I don't take there's no way I would take a vitamin D supplement. And B12 is the only supplement I've ever considered taking. I don't take any supplements at all, but this is the only one I've ever considered taking, B12. And as you can see, I'm getting 0 in my diet. And that's the debatable part here, all right? Let me explain what B12 is before I continue. It's a substance that is synthesized by bacteria. They eat cobalt, which is a metal present all over the earth, on every square inch, basically, to varying concentrations. And the bacteria that eats it is also present all over the earth. They eat this cobalt and they process it into methylcobalamin. Can you see how it says cobalamin there? That's the general term for the nutrient. There's different forms they synthesize in labs now, like hydroxycobalamin. But the natural one is the one that the bacteria makes, and it's all over the earth. Okay? And B12 is super important. It's probably the most important vitamin on this whole list. It's probably the most important nutrient on this whole list. And without it, many things will happen. One of them is that you won't be able to uptake many of these other nutrients because it's super important in many digestive processes. But not just that, if you don't have enough vitamin B12, you end up, well, first you're going to have low energy levels, so you can end up with like chronic fatigue. Then you'll get depression, even suicidal, and eventually you'll get brain damage, irreversible brain damage. And it's because without enough B12, your brain cells cannot sustain themselves. It is crucial. And like I said, it's irreversible, and if you keep going, you'll die. So it's super, super important. It'll take a couple of years before you see these issues though. So if you don't have any B12 in your diet, you might not know it for a couple of years. But within a couple of years, you're going to start to feel worse. And yeah, it's super important. So what am I doing here then? Why am I getting no B12? Well, like I explained to you, it's present all over the earth. The way we used to get it, just think back over 10,000 years ago, before we even had a bow and arrow. That's not a long time, by the way. Our known history goes back 10 million years. So 10,000 years is 0.1% of our known history, right? Our earliest ancestors date back 10 million years ago. And before 10,000 years ago, we didn't have any tools, right? Not even a bow and arrow. Maybe someone had invented it on the side, who knows? But 99.999% of humans didn't have any tools. They didn't even have a bag so they could put a bunch of food in it and store it. They had nothing. They had to just get what was there. So obviously we didn't have any way of reliably hunting animals. Look at our anatomy, it's not made for hunting at all. Even a chimpanzee looks like an apex predator next to us. Big, long teeth, their fangs basically. So we can't reliably eat animal products without tools. A misconception though is that you need to eat dirt to get the B12 that's in the earth, right? Like you need to go out of your way and eat a piece of dirt, or like make sure there's dirt on your carrot as you pull it out the ground, you know, and eat the dirt. That's not true, because if you look at the physics of dirt, each time a gust of wind blows by, and I'm talking about in a natural setting, I'm not talking about on the road, you know, where there's concrete everywhere. I'm talking about where trees grow. Each time a gust of wind blows by, which happens constantly, it kicks up dust, right? It kicks up dust. And this isn't always visible. You know, when the wind is strong or the soil is loose, you're going to see the dust in the air. But below a certain concentration, it's invisible. It's microscopic, right? But it's always there to a degree. When you have a piece of fruit that's been sitting there for months, every minute of every day, this dust in the air has been in contact with it. It ends up with B12 all over the surface. And when you pick it up and eat it, you get that B12, right? Well, that's how it works. We know this, but the debate is whether I'm getting enough of it. But at least I have a scientific explanation to why this is okay, and why, we all know vitamin D can be attained from the sun, right? B12 is the main thing here. You know, many people say, oh, you should be taking supplements. And what I would say to that is, yeah, well, that'd be fine. I'm not gonna, by the way. I'm not gonna take supplements. But if I did, then this diet would just be perfect, wouldn't it? We'd have 100 here, we'd have 100 here, and we would be set, right? We would be, well, let's look at this, right? Perfect, 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 done, everything perfect. Amino acids, perfect, balanced, and all met, each single one. I've got 100 grams of protein, which is plenty. I've got, all right, because of the pistachios, I've got too many saturated fats. Not as bad as this horrendous diet though. With 50 grams, I've only got like 20. Still too many, but that's the pistachios and that's a treat. And they're delicious, by the way. And my omega-3 and 6 balance is not good because of the pistachios. I mean, look at them. They've got heaps of omega-6 in them. But again, they're a treat. And by the way, fruit has a perfect 1-to-1 balance of omega-3 and 6. It's like the only food in nature that has that. And then we got fat. It says we got too much fat, so that's why it's in red. But again, that's the pistachios, and it's not bad to eat more fat on some days, especially when you do exercise and burn that energy. Carbs, all right, it says I got too many carbs, but why is that? It's because I'm not doing any exercise. I haven't put any metrics in here, and it's saying I got a surplus. Like I said, I can burn all that off easily. I'll put exercise in now if I want. I won't do it now, but you know, like 40 minutes of running or whatever, and then some other stuff, and you burn that off. And then you're not going to have too many carbs anymore. And it's going to be perfect. And I've got enough water. I don't even need to drink a sip of water. If I eat all this, no need for a tap, no need for bottled water. And I've got enough fiber, and it's all mostly soluble fiber. This is extremely healthy, guys. Nearly 90 grams there. And then and that's it. Then the energy, tons of energy, like I said, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. You know, plenty of exercise. And that's it, guys. I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind, look at this other list again, right? Look at that huge banquet of food. And we don't even have, we can't even match the calories of this diet, let alone all the nutrition, right? And you might say as well, like, oh, well, at least we've got some vitamin D and B12 here, right? Let's look at the vitamin D and analyze that for a second. All right, so where am I getting my vitamin D? Not from my food. So I'm getting it from the sun. How does that work? I'll just explain it quickly. The sun contains UV light amongst all the other frequencies, right? Inside that UV light, the UVB reacts with the cholesterol that's in your skin. It's just under the epidermis layer, and it creates vitamin D right there on the spot, right on site, under the skin, where it's protected from oxidation and degradation, and it gets right into your blood, fresh as can be, right? It's been manufactured right there, and then it's been put into your blood right there, a millimeter away. All right, and now let's look at this other diet. Where do they get theirs? Vitamin D. All right, fish, eggs, milk, and more fish, and lamb, all these dead animals, basically. When was the date of slaughter of any of these dead animals? What was the date of slaughter? Nobody knows. Why? Why don't we know that? Because they don't tell you. They don't want to tell you. And they never will tell you. It's pretty crazy. That's one thing alone that's crazy about this about all the facts I'm sharing here. That's the craziest thing of all. I mean, we want to know when our veggies were harvested, right? Of course you do. So of course you're going to want to know when a dead body was harvested. Dead bodies putrefy, right? Just like a piece of fruit will rot, a dead body will putrefy, and it's actually much more toxic, by the way. Like, if you eat a piece of rotten meat, it can kill you. Eat a piece of rotten fruit, it's not going to kill you, right? And we don't know the date of slaughter. Imagine the degradation of these nutrients. How long ago do you think it was, by the way? 1 month? 2, 3? We don't know. But what we do know is it can be over 12 months. So you could have had this vitamin D sitting in a dead body for over 12 months. Probably not that long. It's probably more like 2, 3 months. But that's a very long time. And how does the body work? All right, let me explain something about mammalian biology, right? We need oxygen to live. But oxygen is a very damaging molecule. It causes oxidation. All the early life on Earth cannot tolerate any oxygen. They die. Like anaerobic bacteria, for example. But the more evolved life, it's not only can we tolerate it, we need it, right? We need to breathe constantly. We need that oxygen. But like I said, that oxygen does damage, right? So our body has active mechanisms inside it to protect everything from that oxygen, from oxidation, right? What happens when you die? All those mechanisms cease. So what begins? Oxidation. Oxidation. Everything starts to oxidize. Everything starts to degrade. Just think about that. If you've had a nutrient degrading inside a dead body for 2, 3 months, then that's no longer a reliable form of nutrition, right? It's it doesn't even compare to what I get from the sun, right? And also with B12, if I'm getting it from the bacteria that forms it, it's the same story again. Here, it's coming from dead animals where you don't know the date of slaughter. So it's unreliable, it's unknown. And another thing is that most of these animals, guess where they get their B12 from? Supplements. Because they live in small cells, right? I'm talking about 99% of them. Most meat that's for sale is from factory farms, 99%. So most of these animals don't actually have any access to a natural setting. They live in a jail, basically. Concrete everywhere. So the only way they can get their B12 is through supplements. They get tons of supplements. Most of the supplements that we manufacture on this earth go to these animals, actually, not to humans. And then when you get your B12 from them, what are you getting? You're getting the supplements that they ate, right? So you're better off just eating a supplement if you're going to do that. Like I said, though, I don't even take supplements for B12. I don't take B12 supplements. I don't take vitamin D supplements. I don't take any supplements at all. And with these things explained, this is a perfect diet. It's perfectly balanced and everything is perfectly met, right? Again, yeah, you could say too much saturated fat. It's the pistachios, I know. I won't eat them every day, and look, the pistachios have 18.3 grams, so nearly all of that saturated fat is in the pistachios. And that's a treat, and they're delicious, like I said. And that's not too bad, you know? It's not the end of the world. But most of this perfection is because of the fruit. Right? Look, we just got a bunch of fruit and bang, look at all that. Whereas with this other diet, no matter what we were doing, we just kept adding and adding and multiplying. You know, we could have multiplied by 4 and we're still deficient. Right? And that's the thing I came to show you. I mean, that's the thing that that shows, right? So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up soon. But before I do, I'm going to talk about why I believe this is. Why does this food meet everything so well and so easily, you know, so effortlessly? I could swap mango with banana, whatever, orange with kiwi. It wouldn't make hardly any difference to these numbers. Most fruit is very similar in nutritional profile. And I'll just talk about why. So I'll talk about why I believe that this is the right food to eat. Well, it's to do with our evolution. Like I said, we descend from the primate family, supposedly. Even if you don't believe in evolution, there's no denying that we are very similar to primates. Our anatomy, our physiology, even our psychology. But we also originate from the same area as them. We originate from the tropics, right? We live in the same regions. So obviously we had to eat the same food, right? Before we had tools, we couldn't travel. We didn't have vehicles, that's for sure. So we couldn't move out to other areas. We had to eat what was there, and we had to stay where we were, just like the bonobos and the chimpanzees. So like I said, our earliest ancestors date back 10 million years, and we've only had tools for 10,000 years. So what were we doing for that 9.99 million years before we had tools? That massive period of time. We're eating this stuff. There's no doubt about it. So what was our physiology doing? It was adapting to eat all that stuff for 10 million years, basically. Right? Evolution takes millions of years to happen, by the way. But my point is, in the last 10,000 years, only in that short period of time have we been able to do farming and stuff, eat lots of grains and meat. And many people would have you believe that we evolved now to eat grains and meat because we've been doing it for 10,000 years. And that's not even true. We haven't been doing it for 10,000 years. Only 10,000 years ago did we even have a bow and arrow, basically, right? And then slowly we started building up our technology. And then only probably for the last few thousand years, probably 2,000 years, I would say, have we had grains as a heavy part of our diet and meats. Maybe you could argue maybe 5,000, let's say. But even that, it's nothing, right? Evolution doesn't happen over 5,000 years. That's like what? That's like 200 generations. You know, you don't get changes in physiology over that period of time. You can adapt, right? You can make adaptations, but that's different. Building a tolerance to something is completely different to evolving to the point where a new food becomes the ideal, right? It's like, think of a heroin addict, right? They tolerate the heroin. The more they take the heroin, right? They can tolerate more and more. You know, amounts that would kill a normal person. But it doesn't mean it's good for them, right? Maybe if we started using heroin for 10 million years, I'm not saying this would happen, maybe then we could evolve so that heroin would become part of what we need, right? Or any bad drug. You know, this is just an example, and it's just it's just a hypothetical, right? I'm not saying this would really happen, but maybe it could. You know, maybe we could evolve to eat anything, or virtually anything, right? But one thing's for sure, it takes a long time, and it's not going to happen over the course of 5,000-10,000 years, which is the period of time that we've been eating all this kind of other stuff, right? All the meat and all the all the grains, including the rice. And that's my explanation. I mean, when you put those things together, I think it's hard to look past it, because we've shown that this food, not only is it better balanced, but it meets our requirements much easier, right? It's like one meal basically. And that's all you can in nature. What can you eat? Can you eat 5 meals a day like most people do, or whatever, 4 meals? No. No animal in the wild eats more than 1 meal a day, basically. And that's what we got here, 1 meal to cover the lot. Makes perfect sense when you couple that with the evolutionary knowledge that we have. You know, that says that this is all we had to eat for 9.99 million years. And for 0.01 million years, we had this stuff, which is 10,000 years, by the way. And like I said, we didn't have this stuff for 10,000 years anyway. I mean, for most, even after we invented tools, only kings and queens had access to meat. And all the peasants ate grains, I think. And now everyone's got everything, you know, access to the lot. So yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. So I'll see you guys soon. And stay safe, stay healthy. I guess the moral of the story is that fruits and veg, or I guess fruits mainly, and a couple of nuts. So the moral of the story is eat more fruit. Right? We already know that's healthy. Like, everyone knows fruits are healthy. I always knew it. For most of my life, I ate this kind of food and avoided the fruits because I struggled. Like, I knew I should eat them, but it was like a chore, you know? It was weird. But now, it's the opposite. I eat basically nothing but fruit and none of this other stuff. So that's the moral of the story, because these fruits are what basically bring up all the nutrition. Right? Alright, so we'll see you in the next one, guys. Alright guys, here it is. The final solution is coming up. It's going to say on the screen, final solution. So don't go away until you see that. That's where it begins. I'm just going to do a quick summary for those that just tuned in. This is going to blow your mind, guys. It's hard to believe, but it's all true, and it's undeniable because it's all just metrics. It's just food metrics, right? You can confirm all this. Just go into Chronometer. It's free to use. You don't have to pay a cent. And just click add food and just type whatever you want, like corn. Click on whatever you want. Corn dog, for example. Choose your units. So grams, I'll choose grams, go 250 and hit enter, and it will enter that onto the list. I'm not going to add that though, because I've already got a list prepared here for you. This here is a list of healthy foods that should cover everything you need. It's a bit of everything and lots of it. Beef, pork, chicken, fish, crab, milk, lettuce, carrot, corn, onion, eggs, rice, pasta, yogurt, cheese, muesli bar, apple, banana, orange, strawberry, lamb kidney, beef heart, cod liver oil, and bone broth. I mean, it's got a bit of everything and lots of it. You know, if you look here, you got half a pound of pork, half a pound of rice, a bowl of pasta, half a pound of yogurt, half a pound of lamb kidney, so like a whole lamb kidney, and you've got a whole beef heart, that's more than half a pound, that's a whole bunch of beef, and you've got 3 servings of cod liver oil and a bunch of bone broth, another half a pound. Pounds and pounds and pounds of food. So, I mean, it's got to cover the lot, right? Every single nutrient should be covered and then some, right? Wrong. These here are your micronutrients on the right. As you can see, we're majorly deficient in vitamin K. And we're deficient in vitamin E. But we're also way in excess on many key areas, especially selenium, 17 times over. And this here is showing a complete lack of balance. We've got way too little vitamin K and way too much of all of these things, and too little vitamin E. So we're out of balance, right? Even though our diet looks very balanced, you got a bit of everything. See, not too much of anything either. You know, just 100 grams of beef, you know, a couple of 100 grams of pork, just an ounce of chicken, 100 grams of fish, just 1 crab leg. You know, not too much of any particular thing. So real great balance. But really there's no balance. And just to give you a sneak peek of the next bit, in case you just tuned in to the last part here. This here is a list of foods. It's just 4 fruits basically and some nuts. And it's going to blow your mind again when I scroll down and show you the nutrient profile of this list. Not just that, but also the energy. Because if you go back here, look at this crazy list, this whole banquet of food. It's only got 3,591 calories, right? This one, this tiny list here has got more. So that's just the beginning, right? But it's going to blow your mind more when I scroll down. So let's go back here and try and do something about it, right? You might think, oh yeah, we're out of balance here. We need to add more, maybe more fruit. You know, we've got some veg. We've got lots of meat, really. Not much up here, but a lot down here. Lots of organ meat. And organ meat, by the way, is much higher in nutrition. So that's why I added more of this, because I thought that should be a healthier way to go than adding more of that. You know, more pork, like steak and stuff. See, here we've got kidney, heart, and we've got bone broth there, you know. But let's try and do something about this situation here. We've got a vitamin E deficiency, and I know that eggs and organ meats are a good source of vitamin E. So let's look at the eggs. Let's get some eggs. All right, we've got 4 eggs already. So let's up that to 6 eggs, and our vitamin E is looking a little bit better. So let's go to 8 eggs. We're up to 8. It is looking better. So 10 eggs. Yep, it's going up. A dozen eggs. It is going up, but we've got a lot of eggs now, a whole carton. So let's look at the organ meats, because that's the other good source of vitamin E. By the way, fruit and veg is also a good source. So I'll add a bit of organ meat and then a bit of fruit and veg. Oh, we're almost there anyway, aren't we? So let's add a bit of brain. Actually, before I do that, let's look at the cholesterol quickly. We're up to, so we're already like 15 times over the recommended maximum on cholesterol. Let's see where it goes. Because brain is high in cholesterol, that's why I say that. And you need cholesterol for your brain, like I mentioned earlier. So we're going to add some pork brain. 100 grams? Yeah, 100 grams sounds good. It's like 3 ounces. You need cholesterol for brain development, by the way. But your liver makes all the cholesterol you need. And it's the best source of it. So, let's see where our cholesterol went. Oh, it went up big time. It almost doubled. So now we're like 25 times over the limit. That's just insanity right there. But anyway, let's go back to the micronutrients. And the pig brain helped on the vitamin E. But we're not quite there, are we? 97%. So a little bit more pig brain. Let's go up to 125 grams. We're 99%. All right, just a little bit more and we should be there. So let's say 135. And bingo, 101%. We got there. All right. So now let's address the vitamin K. All right. Fruit and veg are our best sources, followed by fish. And I knew fish was a good source, actually. But we've also got beef. That's a good source. Eggs as well. Yeah, I thought that would be there. And some organ meats. Let's look at the fish. We've already got 100 grams here, so maybe that was our problem. Maybe we need more fish. So let's double that. All right, we're up to 28%. Let's go to 300 grams. Yeah, a little bit better. Let's go up to a full pound. A pound of fish. That's 448 grams. Yeah, a bit better, but it's not really helping much, is it? Let's go up to a kilogram. 1,000 grams. It's like 2.2 pounds. Okay, it went up a bit, but I mean, it's not helping much. Let's go to 2 kilograms. That's 4.4 pounds of fish now, amongst all of the other stuff we've got here. Remember, fruit, veg, everything. And we're still not there, 80%. All right, so the fish doesn't help much, really. I mean, if that's how much fish we've got to eat. So let's add some fruit. Let's add some apples. Go to 2 apples. All right, helped a bit. Let's go to 3 apples. 3 apples. Yep, it's going up. 4 apples. 5 apples. Let's add a banana. 2 bananas. Let's add, make it 4 bananas now. Oh, it's not going up much, is it? An orange. Let's add an orange. Oh, another orange. Oh, let's add a packet of strawberries. Oh, went up a bit. The strawberries helped a little bit. Another orange. Ah, see, look, we're in trouble, aren't we, guys? We're in trouble. Another orange. Another pack of strawberries. 3 packs of strawberries. Oh, we got there. Marvelous. We got there, guys. How about that? We're not deficient now in anything. Nothing at all. We've got enough of everything. Unfortunately, now our situation is about as bad as it's ever been, with 26 times as much selenium as we need, 5 times more sodium than the recommended maximum, which is already high at 1,500 milligrams. 1,000% of our iron needs, basically. Way too much zinc. Way too much niacin now. I mean, we're in big trouble now. That's going to make you sick as a dog. If you could even eat all that food, you know, every day. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. So I guess the final solution was there is none. I mean, you saw I tried to add all this fruit as well, you know. Could have gone with a veg, but whatever. Let's look at the other diet now. And just realize there is no veg here at all. Just a few fruits and a couple of nuts. I mean, a pack of pistachios, but it's not much food. I eat all that in one meal. And remember, I get more calories than what that last diet was getting. That boatload of food there. I get more calories. But the mind-blowing part, as I told you, is when I scroll down here. Look at this. Perfection, perfection, perfection. And I did already talk about the vitamin D. I get that from the sun. That's your best source. And that's what I do. I never eat. I don't take supplements or anything. And B12 again. Here, you might want to take supplements, but I don't. I'm confident that I'm getting them in my food. And some people might want to debate that, but I've been doing this such a long time that I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm not going to take supplements. I don't take any supplements. If anything, I would take a B12 supplement if I was going to take one, but I'm not going to. And the reason I would take B12 is because it's known to be extremely safe and effective. whereas many other supplements are not. So if you want to eat this way, I guess you might want to add that. Let's add that then. There's many natural forms that come from like seaweed and stuff. So we've got, let's just click on that one. We'll add the minimum amount possible. 0.01 grams. Done. Our needs are met. And most B12 supplements they're quite natural because the bacteria makes it. They can just use the bacteria to make it, right? So even though it's made in a lab, the bacteria are the ones making it. So there you go. We've got dietary perfection, guys. All our amino acids are met and in great balance, and we've got 100 grams of protein. All our macronutrients are met and exceeded. We've got enough fat, enough carbs. And the reason these are in the red is because I haven't put any exercise metrics in. So it says we've got a surplus of calories, right? We've got more calories than what we're burning. As soon as you balance that out by doing some exercise, you'll be in the green zone. So we're looking at perfection here, guys. And the only bad thing here is the saturated fat. And that's mostly in the pistachios. Can you see that? 18.3 grams. Nearly all of my saturated fat is coming from those. And that's more of a treat, as I mentioned earlier. They're delicious, and I don't mind eating them every now and then. So the only bad thing really is I'm a bit high in saturated fat. 21 grams is quite a bit, really. So I wouldn't want to eat that every day. But let's look at the other list, guys. How much saturated fat do they have? 148 grams. 148. So we're already high at 21. So, I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing. But that's about it, guys. If you can get anything out of this, it's that eat more of this stuff, because that's how you're going to reach this stuff, right? And not this stuff, right? And that's it. It's simple, isn't it? The only thing I'll mention though is it's not good to eat fruit on top of this other stuff, all these heavy foods, all your grains and your meats. If you eat fruit after eating that, it's going to ferment in your body, and it's not going to do any good. It's only going to do harm. It's just going to turn to alcohol. So don't do that. Eat fruit on an empty stomach. Eat it in the morning, you know, or, you know, early. I don't even recommend eating early anyway. Like, as I mentioned earlier, I eat all this in one sitting at around 6 p.m. So that's it, guys. I'll wrap it up here, and I'll see you next time. Hope you got something out of this video. It's going to be, hopefully I'll have some more interesting videos like this coming up. I'll do my best, but I'll get my EUC back real soon anyway, and we're going to have some more writing videos. So I'll see you guys soon.